Hello and welcome to episode 4 of the On Fire podcast with James and Dylan. I'm Dylan.
And I'm James.
And today we're going to talk at you about the latest Game of Thrones episodes and what we think, hope, and expect to happen in the finale and moving forward with the series. Alright, so we'll get straight into it, as we always do, with our Game of Thrones superlatives. This week, our theme is superlatives north of the wall, and we're going to limit ourselves to one each. James, I'll let you start.
All right. Not a very good one, but who is slower? Who demonstrates more patience? The tortoise from the fabled tale of Tortoise and the Hare, or Jon Snow when everyone's on the dragon ready to leave and he's being a tough guy for God knows why?
That's a great question. And I want to talk about that scene a little bit later some more as well. But I'm gonna have to go with Jon here because he literally almost died. And the tortoise won the race. So I guess a little bit of a different stakes there.
Fair
what do
enough.
you think?
Yeah. Once you say that, now that makes more sense.
Alright. Mine is, who would you be most excited to see turned into a zombie?
That's a really good one. I would like to say the Mountain. Or wait, no, sorry, the Hound. Because we know he's going to fight the Mountain, who's already kind of zombified.
Yeah.
So what if, in the finale, all the houses unite, go to fight North, and then the zombified Mountain has to fight a White Walker version of the Hound? How badass would that be?
That would be badass, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's your answer?
I was going to say Cersei, but now I say the Hound because I want that.
That's a good one.
That was a good answer, for sure.
So
do you think the Mountain's zombiness is in some way related to the magic behind the White Walkers?
No.
No?
I think that's purely a different kind of magic that the, what's his name used, her hand.
Chiron?
No.
Kieran?
No.
Something like that.
Dang it. Oh, go back to it. But staying in the theme of North of the Wall, we can talk about everything that kind of happened north of the wall if we break this up into chunks.
Yeah.
So first we'll start with what the previous episode led us to, which was dragon glass weapons, all that mining. So first thought, I had no idea that they all had dragon glass weapons crafted and being used.
I think I spoke to this a little bit in the first episode we did, maybe the second episode, but regardless, we have seen no sign of the industrial apparatus that's going to take this dragon class, extract it, and process it into usable weapons and armor. And I think that's a big open-ended question there. And like you said, they just had dragon glass weapons for this expedition, and we don't see at all how that came to happen.
Here's my question for you then.
Yep.
Why do they not have some in their armor? Just like you could take shards and sheaths and just kind of embed it on yourself. Because by all accounts, dragon glass isn't known for being a heavy material. Mm-hmm. Why wouldn't they do that?
And you can just process it however you want. So that's a great question.
Could you imagine if they made a huge dragon set of dragon glass armor that just rests on the whole thing?
That would be awesome.
Yes.
Do you think it would stop the ice javelins?
I would think so, because dragon glass is supposed to be like the material. Unless you argue that Valyrian steel would be, the thing that's more anti-White Walker than dragon glass is to dragons.
That's true. I guess they're kind of both right now the antidote or the anti-zombie weapon. I'd like to see some more information on that as we keep moving forward with the plot.
Yeah. My favorite topic, if we can.
Yes.
Traveling.
Yes. Everyone's favorite topic.
So, soon after the episode, I texted you guys and said that Gendry is a rich man's Usain Bolt.
Yes. Great text.
And then, 3 days later, I started seeing that pop everywhere, and I was like, dang it. I was totally there first.
You missed the meme boat, my man.
I know. But traveling, some fast, others not. How long it took them to get from the wall all the way to where the fight took place at the Ice Lake.
Yeah.
So, seems like it was a multi-day account.
Yes.
By all measures. And Gendry, who is, for all we know, not a very conditioned person, dead sprint back the entire time, doesn't miss a beat, makes it there in what seems to be maybe half a day, something like that.
Pretty iffy. I just want to say, the episode we did right when we learned they were going north of the wall, and it ended right there. My hopeful prediction was that the dragons would come and save the day. So, props to me.
Are you happy with how that went down, though?
Not at all. Not at all.
Could we talk about Gendry's speed as it relates to a squeak toy hammer?
Oh, man. Maybe he's just superhuman. Have we thought of that?
No, we haven't.
So, at this point, are all of the main characters superhuman?
You could make an argument for all of them to some extent. But one thing that pissed me off in the heat of the moment, because I didn't initially realize that they were using dragonglass weapons. Mm-hmm. So Gendry gives his hammer to the Hound, I think it is.
Yep.
And then during the fights, the Hound is just like one arm swinging it in like a spiral, and it's just knocking people away. Then all of a sudden he throws it on the ground. I'm just like, why are you doing that? You're just killing people right now. But unless you have to assume it's super heavy.
Yes, exactly. Again, the styrofoam hammer, I'm not down with it.
So, with Gendry being the world's fastest man, what about the horse that took Jon Snow back being the world's smartest horse?
I think it's also important to point out and to commend this horse for its service because, again, how far did it have to run? How many days, I mean, in terms of time?
Any relation to Seabiscuit, do you think?
Probably. Yeah, probably Seabiscuit, like across a Seabiscuit Secretariat, yeah.
Man, I don't think it took that long because Dany just waited at the wall for him. Yeah. But it seemed like it took longer than it took Gendry. Yes. So I think it's safe to say that it takes a horse about a fourth the amount of time as it takes to keep up with Gendry's pace.
Yes. I mean, Jesse Owens would race horses after his Olympic days, so I guess we can say that Gendry is the Jesse Owens of his generation.
Quick thoughts on death. Who would you have liked to see die that episode?
Probably any of the main characters. I think it would have added a lot of depth and strength to the storyline. It didn't feel very Game of Thrones that they all made it out alive. Yeah. And it was kind of weird that these random kind of non-story characters kept dying. You didn't even know they were with the group. It was kind of weird.
Yes. I honestly had no idea they were traveling with until one of the fighting scenes.
Yes. Exactly.
And it seems like, okay, now at least they can say that someone died for the sake of progressing. I don't know. Exactly. Yeah. I wasn't super thrilled with how it happened, but it was still one of my favorite episodes, weird enough. Yeah. Where a lot of people didn't like it, but it was up there for me.
I'm going to be honest. I didn't think about the timing stuff until other people started talking about it. Yeah. So it didn't really ruin the episode for me by any means.
I didn't mind timing that much anymore. At this point, it's like, okay, fully embrace it and then just get through all the plot shit that you want to, because I would rather have that happen than keep pace and then end the season and ultimately series eventually with shit not wrapped up.
Exactly. Totally agree.
So on that little ice hump, the Hound's little rock throwing exhibit.
Yes.
I enjoyed that, but at the same time I was like, you fucking idiot.
What a tool. Yeah. I mean, I was incredibly impressed. The first one, that was like Ichiro in his prime.
It was like 5 football fields. 500-yard throw.
Right into a bucket.
It was like, it's the view from behind him, and he throws it, and you can see it going down like 20 feet. Then the camera pans the other way, and it's just like launched in the air.
They hit the afterburners on the rock, yeah.
Thoros died, though. Ooh, what do you think of that one?
It was pretty sad. And
I thought it was a good death.
Yeah. Like I said, that was the gravitas I was looking for from this storyline. That these people were literally going out to their likely deaths in hopes of saving the realm or whatever. And I thought it was pretty badass when they seared his wounds closed. Cauterized his wounds with the sword. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that makes Beric infinitely more interesting for the however much longer we're going to have him now that he can't revive.
It's very true.
Or can he if the Red Woman comes back? Dun dun dun. She's the worst. So, dragons. Talked about them for a bit. So, Viserion died.
Very sad. Very, very sad. They foreshadowed it, I feel like, quite a bit. But, I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so. In hindsight, I could see that. You knew someone was going to die the whole time.
Yes.
One of the dragons, at least.
Yeah.
And as soon as the season started, me and a handful of other people, I think someone else who will not be named,
Yep.
thought that one of the dragons would die and come back as an ice dragon.
Yeah.
But I read that Dany wore, that crazy outfit that she had, that winter one.
Yeah.
The whole print on it was Viserion's print because all of her dragons have a different colored, I don't want to say skin, but the kind of textured.
Yeah. That pattern, like a scale pattern.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that one matched Viserion, who she wasn't riding, which is weird. So they said maybe you can read into that if you want to do.
Okay.
But do you think the ice dragon's going to breathe ice or fire?
I really wanted to ask you this question. And I don't know the answer.
I'm going to go with blue fire.
Yeah, that's...
Well, how shocked would you be if it's flying, just unleashes a huge breath and just freezes everything into giant ice spikes and stuff? I can see that.
Then the other dragon comes, thaws everybody out, cancels out, everybody's fine.
Thaws people?
Yep.
Oh my god, that'd be insane.
Some Walt Disney shit, man.
Jeez. We can talk about the resurrection of that dragon real quick.
Ooh.
That's something that pissed me off.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, where the hell did they get these 5 million foot so thick chains out of nowhere?
Okay. So I had the same thought, and I was talking to one of my clients about it last week, and he's very into Game of Thrones, far more than we are. And he said they got the chains from that town, like Harrenhal or whatever that town was called. Remember when Jon first saw the Night King and they overran that town? He said they're from there.
Why? Why would they have chains that big for anything?
They could be for the port. They could be...
That's one of them was 10 feet tall, one link.
Yeah.
It is weird.
Yes. Yeah.
Ugh. Yeah, that kind of rubbed me the wrong way.
Yeah.
Unless you buy into the theory that Bran is the Night King, and the Night King has the power of foresight also, knew this would happen, and preemptively had people either working on or work to gather them.
Yes.
One possible thing, but...
And we kind of know that the Night King has some of those powers, right?
Yeah, something. At least the
It's
awareness
possible.
about it.
Yeah.
Also, I don't think they could be strong enough to pull out the dragon.
Uh-huh.
Dragons are so heavy in any lore you read into.
Yeah.
And they just had up a hill's worth on a couple chains, and they just rip out a dragon, which no one could do anyways. B, a soaking wet one from the bottom of the lake.
Yes.
Oh my god, so dumb.
Fairly problematic, yes.
So dumb.
He has a lot of manpower, though. He does
Yeah,
have a lot
true.
of manpower. Yeah.
Pretty sweet battle though, all in all.
Very
the dragons.
good. Yeah.
That was pretty tight. The dragon dying though, is it 100% John's fault?
No. I mean, I don't think it's anyone else's fault at all, but I wouldn't say it's 100% John's fault.
That's probably the only time so far I've yelled at the TV.
Yes.
Is everyone's on the dragon ready to go, yelling at him to hurry up, and he's sprinting the opposite direction to cut down whites.
And I want to
So
talk about
dumb.
a little bit. So he made eye contact with the Night King, and then he just panicked. Do we know why that was?
John panicked?
Yeah.
No. Unless he knew that maybe he has those spears that John knows about, could kill any one person. John tried to fight his way there. I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah. That's what I thought. Is he going Rambo? Is he going to fight his way to the Night King, try to kill him? But then they made the eye contact, and it was I don't know what caused him to just panic, because that's immediately when he turned around was run, and then got tackled into the water.
They're also very aware there that the Night King is the one in charge. Everyone. Daenerys could even see that.
Yeah.
Why didn't the dragon breathe fire in that general vicinity?
I was thinking the same thing. Yeah.
Bam. Night King, though, him and his army look pretty damn unstoppable at this point.
Yeah. It's hard to know how that's going to end.
So this is a little thing. I don't know if I told you. I likened this battle between North of the Wall and South of the Wall at this point to the hit film Pitch Perfect.
Ah, okay.
Kevin's favorite show. Have I talked to you about this yet?
No, not yet.
Okay, so in Pitch Perfect, which, come on, everyone's seen Pitch Perfect.
Cinematic masterpiece.
Yes. So there's the good people, which is the famous actors and actresses. And then there's always the bad guys.
Yeah. popular kids.
which is like this German group in that movie. And throughout the whole thing, whenever they have like battles and stuff, the German group is like so far away better, like hands down 1,000,000 times better.
Yeah.
Then at the end, it's like, oh, but the good guys win. And you're just like, okay, no, I don't buy it. They were so much worse.
Yeah.
Like anyone with ears would know this. I'm thinking that's how this battle's going to go. It's going to take a stroke of, you're just like, okay, I guess, whatever. Like with an ice dragon that shouldn't be able to die.
Yeah.
That huge, vast army. The Night King, the other people who can conjure those spears, if you will.
Yeah.
They shouldn't die, and if they do, it's going to have to be Bran's doing, right?
Yeah, it's got to be Bran's doing. Or they shoot him with the giant catapult thing, the ballista.
Will that do anything, though? Unless they fashion like a...
Dragon glass.
Yeah. I guess we have to find what Bran's up to. He's just a wizard on that thing.
He is. He's pretty good. Pretty
One-
bizarre we didn't see any Bran through this storyline.
Yeah, right. One other thing I wanted to touch on real quick is Jorah.
Okay.
He just has like little 5-inch daggers.
Yeah.
And it's like, what? You're not letting people get that close to you and just carving people up the entire time.
Yeah, so
Bullshit.
dumb.
Wasn't loving that. Benjen, saw an appearance from him.
Yeah. Rest in peace, baby. Just made the
I don't
sign
know why he
across.
just didn't go when John rode off on that horse.
Yeah.
No one was even remotely close to following them, and
Yeah.
they were on foot. Benjen goes, runs down, like hits one person, and then dies immediately.
Yes.
Do you think he just wanted to die, tired of living north of the wall in isolation?
I could definitely buy into that.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you said, I think they both could have made it out. This was like fulfilling his purpose or whatever. That weapon was not a great choice for close combat.
Yeah. Last thing north of the wall. Why did Bran not help? So my theory is, do you think there's a scenario where he knows this is all going to happen and chooses to not intervene because of, if you buy into the butterfly effect, but he knows the chain of how everything's going to unfold, so he's just letting it kind of happen? Do you buy into that at all, or do you think he's just dumb?
If Bran is well intentioned, we have to buy into that, right? Because he knows about the plan. He knows that Daenerys and Jon are incredibly important, and the dragons are incredibly important for success against the Night Army, and he does nothing to intercede. So he's either not very powerful, or he knew this was necessary for the success of the good guys, or he's rooting for the success of the bad guys, which is what
We
I'm
want 3, it's probably 2.
yeah, hopefully 3.
So let's move south of the wall then. We had some Arya and Sansa stuff go down,
Oh yeah.
which was pretty interesting.
Yep.
So tell me about their little scene together, the little monologues.
Oh, it was pretty feisty. Pretty feisty. So there was confrontation about the letter that Arya found last week while snooping around that Littlefinger had planted, and this was Sansa's forced request for Arya and the Starks and Robb to give up against the Lannisters and surrender. Arya's getting a little off the rails. I don't know if she's a force of good.
I think she's doing this on purpose.
You think so?
That's what I buy into.
Calculated.
Yes, I think so,
Okay.
very much so. I have 2 questions for you, though. One, what is Littlefinger's end game by doing this whole hide the scroll thing, hoping that Arya finds it?
I think from his perspective, he's always looking for a wedge he can put in between people that hold power or gravitas.
So what's the end game by driving a wedge between those 2?
Yeah. And so I think once he creates the conflict, he can swoop in either on Sansa's side or on Arya's side and say, I'm here for you. If you need me to stabilize this situation or deal with that, he can remove a competitor in power and align himself with the surviving power holder. So
I don't think he has any chance of siding with Arya, but Lexi was watching the season, as you saw, back from 1.
Yeah.
And I saw a scene where Arya played like a little girl who was like poured drinks for all them, and no one recognized her because of haircut
Yep.
and everything.
Yep.
As Littlefinger was in the room, basically bashing her family and everything.
Yeah.
And I wonder why she hasn't brought that up or wanted to kill him for that.
Because he's not on the list, right? Whatever list she
No.
has. Yeah. That's a great question.
Weird.
Because to some degree she knows that Peter was involved, or Littlefinger was involved
Yeah.
in a Death of her father, right?
So, my second question, why the hell would Sansa send away Brienne?
That's a great question.
The one person who can protect her from almost anything.
Yeah. And you have to... Who's gaining from this? Littlefinger.
Oh, 100,000,000%.
Yeah.
Just so dumb.
She's being so easily manipulated. She's getting power hungry. She's getting too confident. She's letting herself get undercut.
Protect her aside, though. What's the point of sending Brienne there? She's not going to be able to negotiate or do anything. No one's going to take her seriously. It's just dumb.
I don't think anyone will kill Brienne upon arrival like they might any of the Starks or Jon or Daenerys.
Yeah, true. So our last from the episode little section is Jon and Dany's brief interactions together.
Yep.
So when Jon called her Dany, did you get little goosey bumps on your arm?
Oh my god. Talk about fan service.
Yeah, I know, right? The first time someone's called her Dany since her brother. We all know how that ended up.
Yep.
So they were also really intimate together.
Yeah.
Until they weren't.
Yeah.
She got real cold.
Yep.
Do you think they're going to end up hooking up?
I do not.
I do now.
Okay.
Everything so far has been fan service to the max.
That's true.
That's what leads me to believe this is going to be the case.
That's pretty sad, actually.
It is, but I'm also still rooting for this. Maybe even more so now that it's incest.
Okay. I will say this. I don't know if I told you this already. When I turned on the episode, I went to HBO Go and started it. And for whatever reason, it started with like 10 minutes left in the episode.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know that. It had like gone through the HBO intro, started late in the episode, and I thought they were doing a narrative where they were like, they start after all the events have happened and then go back and show what happened and led to the situation. So the first two scenes of the episode I watched were the final scene with Sansa and Arya and that final scene with Jon and Daenerys. And I hadn't seen any of the action yet. And it came across to me so much more romantic than it did after watching the episode.
Yeah.
For whatever that's worth, I think it's
interesting.
It's definitely possible.
Another question. Why is no one in Jon's circle or Dany's circle suggesting marriage as an alternative for all this? Because this would literally fix every issue they have with one another.
I totally agree, and I have the same question.
And then if someone's like, okay, well, they're related, let's not forget that Targaryens in general, they marry their relatives to keep their bloodline perfectly intact, and that's why they have their kids. So this wouldn't deter Dany at all. This just seems like this should have been something at least, considered.
Totally. And I think that's something that Bran will have to at some point step up and say, hey, you guys should marry each other or whatever.
Man, for as much as I like this issue, all I'm bringing up right now is like stuff I had issues with.
Yep.
But so another thing, when he's laying on his bed, it's no secret she's been pretty onto him about the whole rebirth situation,
Yeah.
She questioned it a lot.
Yeah.
She's sitting there with him shirtless, looking at like dagger wounds through his belly. Doesn't ask anything about that.
I think that conversation will come up, but I agree. It was...
Oh my gosh.
Her child just died. Give her a break.
Yeah, and they really made it to point to keep hammering us to let us know how barren she is and she can't have kids. It's like, all right, we get it. Something's going to happen. And from other accounts, not my own, but apparently in the books, there's more to that curse. And the book constantly alludes to her womb quickening and being ready for another child, and it wasn't a permanent curse.
Oh.
So the books basically say that she can have a kid.
Yeah.
So, and then all this, I can't have a kid. Oh, I can have a kid.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be something like that. And hopefully it's with Jon.
Yes. And it will be the prince who's promised.
Yes. So, we'll talk about what we, in a word, think's going to happen. Just very briefly, what do you think's going to happen at the end of next episode? What are we going to be left with this season?
I think it will be the first machinations of Cersei breaking the truce.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think? I just put 2 words. Truce/betrayal.
Yeah.
Either it's going to end in a truce, everything's going to be well and good, and they're going to take off, and then we're going to be all of a sudden rooting for Cersei, or immediately she's going to stab someone in the back, maybe even literally.
Yeah.
And then that's going to be where the credits roll.
Yeah. I think my thought is the credits will roll with her setting something up to betray them.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think they will know yet that they're going to be betrayed. Excuse me.
So, finally, I think the showrunners are pretty aware that season's not gone ideal.
Yeah.
For as far as reactions have gone. So I have a handful of predictions that I think are all going to happen in the last episode.
Okay.
And I want your reaction. Then if you want to add anything, tell me I'm wrong.
Okay.
So I think Arya's going to kill Littlefinger.
Ooh, okay. I'm hopeful.
I think the Hound's going to kill the Mountain.
In the next episode.
Yes.
Ooh, that'd be crazy.
I think Jon's going to learn his heritage and accept it.
Okay.
I think the Night King's going to fly over the wall in the dragon, and the Ice Viserion's going to blow up the entire wall.
Do you think there's going to be anything under the wall?
I think that's where they're all going to come through at the time. Like blowing the gate over, blow up top.
Yeah.
Something like that.
But you don't think there's going to be anything
like people pour out from the ground type of thing?
Or no, like a magic rock or...
I don't think so.
Someone said they thought there might be an ice dragon buried underneath the wall.
No.
Someone was talking to me about that. And something to give it its magic.
Yeah. I personally don't think so. I think it's going to be a very simple dragon flies over the wall.
Yeah.
And we're just like, oh fuck, screen goes black, credits roll type of thing.
That would be a pretty crazy end of the season.
I think Cersei's going to kill Jaime.
Ooh. Flipping the narrative on its head. Okay.
He's no secret. He's betrayed her trust a couple times most recently, especially hosting Tyrion. Mm-hmm. So I think I could see the episode completely ending on that note.
Wow.
But I think I saw from an interview recently, the guy who plays Jaime said they were going to film. So, damn it. Maybe that's a bad one.
But it could be a flashback or something like that. Yeah.
Then my final one is Varys betrays Dany to help Cersei.
Ooh, that would be cold.
I think part of me at least wants to think that he's serving himself wherever he thinks he has the chance of being most useful. Doesn't care about the good of mankind.
Okay. You don't buy into all that?
I do, but I don't want to.
Yeah.
So these are all... Most of these won't happen. I think if one of them happens, I'd be like, oh, nice. But...
I would bet probably out of all of those, probably 3 will happen.
Have a chance of happening.
Yeah. It'd be pretty a lot of twists if you threw in more than that. Yeah.
I think I'm most rooting for Cersei killing Jaime. I think that would be crazy.
That would be... People would lose their minds. I would lose my mind.
I don't know.
That's for sure.
Damn.
Yeah. I'm excited.
Yeah, for sure. It's going to be a good one.
Okay.
But that's all we got for this episode. Very brief.
And thank you again for listening, for tagging along. We are about 2 weeks away from week 1 of the NFL season. So
yes, gear up for that.
Things are looking up in that regard. And tonight is the finale. Go Mariners. Go Seahawks.
We'll have another Game of Thrones finale podcast out in the next couple days.
Stay tuned.